hold on to that word, is what I said to Mash when he said this statement to me. Say it again.
So there is a space spiritually that we own, we control. We can control the noise that comes into that space. We can control every contributing elements into that space, and we invite God. And we want him to be part of that space, to come and edify us in that space, to come and elevate us in that space. It is our space.
Yes. And then there's a space.
And there is a space that God controls, that God owns. And when he invites you, he doesn't need your promises.
We don't invite him. He invites us into
you.
that space. And
you don't talk. You don't say a word. He speaks. He controls. He facilitates. You are a guest.
You surrender.
You surrender.
You
keep quiet.
surrender.
You don't say a word. He shows you his realm. And you sit there and you're quiet and your flesh dies in it.
Because it's such an honor.
It's
such an honor. It's not a moment of trying to
impress.
No.
You try and prove. The fact that he invited you, it's a proof enough that you should be in that space. And you don't need, there's not a word that you will say that has meaning. It is the Holy of Holies. There is no word in the Holy of Holies that you will say that carries a meaning.
His sovereignty. Saints. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're listening from. This is the prayer picnic. We went straight into it because what a wow. I think as believers, we sometimes take for granted God's reverence, his wholeness, his atmosphere, being in his space. And we think it's normal and we think we are entitled to it because we are believers. And we miss the point that this is Godship, Lordship, Kingship. This is above it all. This is the highest of the highest. This is the holiest of the holiest. And imagine being in a space of greatness and you can't surrender and try to listen.
So it starts here.
Sure.
So there are ways. There are ways that, you see, let me start you a step back. So there are times where we think we are worshiping God, but we're not worshiping God. Because our words carry our action. Now, think of it this way. You can't tell someone you love them, but you don't honor your word towards them.
Yeah.
I come to you and I say, I am hungry. And you're saying, I love you. And you don't feed me.
Yeah.
Yet you have food.
Back it up with action.
Yes. So now, when we go into God's space and we want to worship him, it is not the words that we express. The worship doesn't start when the church starts. When the church starts, it is the expression that carries it. The worship starts in the morning when you are surrounded by your enemies. How you treat them. The worship starts when you have an advantage of executing God's word to forgive. How you carry yourself when somebody offends you. That's when worship starts. And now, when you go into his presence, you say, God, I have forgiven not because I wanted to, but because you told me to. And now that worship carries more weight than just empty words. Empty words. We speak words. We have scripts for days. But when he looks into, what are you saying? It's like when you have a partner and your partner disrespects you and doesn't pay attention to you and doesn't listen to you, and you guys just are not in sync, and this person turns around and say, I love you. And then you turn around and you say, but what does that even mean? Because you're not expressing it, you're not living it. And worship is unfortunately like that for us. You can't just start by saying, God, I worship you. What does it mean? I surrender. What does it mean? Because when you're saying you surrender, you must have surrendered during the day. When you're saying, God, I honor you, you must have, it must have proceeded by an honor that you said, not my flesh, let it die. Let God be. And it's I'm doing it because I know I'm gonna open my mouth in his presence there, and I will be carrying empty words if I don't forgive. If I don't do right, if I don't do right by him, I'm going to see him later. I will have nothing to show in his presence. And that is the message. I will have nothing to show in his presence. What do you have to show? You have words to say, yes, but what do you have to show?
Sure. Too good.